Critical point number 3. Total depravity undermines the foundational truths of the incarnation and redemptive work of Christ.
Let's discuss the claim that's actually being made here. The idea is that the doctrine of total depravity denies both the incarnation and the redemptive work of Christ. In reality, nothing could be further from the truth. Through Christ, God gives life to those who are dead in sin. The sons of Adam are cursed to be born by nature children of wrath. But Christ was born the only Son of God, the second Adam, in whom the fullness of God was pleased to dwell in.
Hebrews 2:14-17. Since therefore the children share in flesh and blood, he himself, speaking of Christ, likewise partook of the same things.
When Hebrews says that he shares our flesh, we can't say that that means that he partook in the same thing that made us need redemption in the first place. In Romans chapter 7, Paul says that nothing good dwells within his flesh, that sin is alive within his members. He would go on to say that those who are in the flesh cannot please God. But the Father said of Christ, "This is my only Son in whom I am well pleased." Jesus also says that the flesh profits nothing, and if this is the case with the flesh of the Messiah, then his flesh cannot profit us salvation.
That through death he might destroy the one who has the power of death, that is the devil, and deliver all those who through fear of death were subject to lifelong slavery.
They were subject to lifelong slavery. When does life begin? At conception. Just like David says in Psalm 51, he was brought forth in iniquity. In sin did his mother conceive him. You can believe those words objectively, or you can despise them because they hold a mirror up to you.
For surely it's not angels that he helps, but he helps the offspring of Abraham. Therefore, he had to be made like his brothers in every respect, so that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in the service of God to make propitiation for the sins of the people. Now recall, total depravity asserts that our nature as the offspring of Adam, Abraham, David, all of that we are sinful. Yet Scripture states Jesus assumed that very same flesh, that very same nature, and the apostles went out of their way to offer genealogies tying him to Adam as a fulfillment of his messianic prophecies.
This is why I mentioned earlier that Jesus is the second Adam. It's important because there is no father above him in the human bloodline. This concept began back in Genesis chapter 3 when God said that the Messiah would come through the seed of the woman. Isaiah would expound on this and say that he would come through a virgin. This being the case, he has nothing to do with the judgment and condemnation that came to all men from one man's offense. Christ became sin on our behalf so that we might become the righteousness of God in him. And if Jesus is like us in respect to sin, then that transaction has no meaning.
Total depravity asserts that our soul, will, mind, and flesh are sinful, yet Scripture and the early church again affirmed Jesus assumed it all so as to redeem us. This was all the heresy debates in the early church were about denying this very fact.
If what he's saying about the flesh of Christ is true, then Jesus would have also been talking about himself when he said that it is from within, out of a person's heart, that evil thoughts come. Sexual immorality, theft, murder, and so on. All these evils come from inside and defile a person. Jeremiah says that the heart is deceitful above all things. If you don't believe these things about your heart, then it has deceived you.
As Gregory of Nazianzus wrote in Epistle 101 to Cladonius against Apollinarius, quote, "For that which he has not assumed, he has not healed, but that which is united to his Godhead is also saved." If Christ assumed a corrupt nature, as total depravity suggests, he would not be the spotless Redeemer. So here we see adherents of total depravity jettison Scripture and argue Jesus took on the nature of Adam, not the offspring of Abraham.
Total depravity does not argue that Jesus took on the nature of Adam. When Adam was made, he was without sin, but he had no knowledge of good and evil. When Abraham was born, he had knowledge of good and evil, but he was enslaved to sin. Being born of a virgin, Christ was like Adam in the sense that he had no father but God. But being born of Mary would give him the knowledge of good and evil, without having to commit sin to obtain it.